What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy Belanje. Up next, I come bearing gifts. Let's talk. So this may be the last video you guys see titled under the GM name. All right. I've been thinking about the right time, trying to plan the right time to get the transition done, and that just doesn't seem to be a right time. So we're going to just jump all the way in. So tomorrow we'll get this thing rolling with a name change, and then you'll start seeing the new logos and things like that roll out over the next couple of weeks. Intro music, background music, all of that stuff will be changing. So just want to kind of give you a heads up that that is coming beginning on tomorrow. All right. And so what I wanted to do, man, is kind of honor you guys with some gifts, right? As we get ready to close out the GM portion of the content creation and move into the next phase, I come bearing gifts. The 2025 season has not gone well for us as a fan base, as the organization, and nobody expected, nobody predicted, nobody projected that the Baltimore Ravens would sit at the bottom of the AFC North, at and near the bottom of the AFC, at and near the bottom of the entire league. In fact, we are so low that we sit right now in the 5th draft position for the 2026 draft. Now, of course, last week we was in a worse position because we were at number 3. And I do expect as the Baltimore Ravens get things rolling once again, whatever that looks like, I think that we will continue to fall down the draft board as it pertains to order. But I do think it is realistic to think that the Baltimore Ravens could draft as high as 10. I do believe that, because where we currently sit amongst the 1-win teams, it's pretty significant to climb out of that top 10 to top 15 draft range. So what I wanted to do is give us, the Baltimore Ravens fan base, some gifts. I have talked about, since 2023, the offensive line. I've talked about the defense, specifically the edge rush position. And I've talked about how that this Baltimore Ravens team has not done a good job building around quarterback Lamar Jackson, specifically when it comes to protection. So I bring to you my first 2026 mock draft based upon where we are. So let's get into it. So as I stated, the Baltimore Ravens sit at pick number 5. When I used the draft simulator, I did get an offer to trade down to pick number 10 and also pick up an extra second round and another late round pick. So I took that trade because I think more realistically, the Baltimore Ravens could slide in at pick number 10. So at pick number 10 for the Baltimore Ravens, I drafted Caleb Lemieux, offensive tackle out of Utah. This kid is 6'6", 304 pounds. Long arms, 34, 35-inch arms, super athletic. Matter of fact, some of the descriptions that they talked about when they talked about Lemieux was that he has feet like a tight end, movement of a tight end, although he has such a big frame. Some of the concerns about this kid is that he is light. You know, they have concerns that he may not be able to anchor the offensive line with a 304-pound body. So, you know, there are some suggestions that he pick up weight. There's been some suggestions that he may have to move into guard. There have been some suggestions that he may have to move over to the right tackle position. But I think with his athleticism, his ability to pull, he's a good run blocker, and he's even better as a pass blocker. I think that he could slot in and bring immediate competition for our left tackle position. You see, because the truth is, the reason why I drafted this kid is he's ranked higher than the guy I really want. As of right now, he's ranked higher, but the guy I really want, I will draft in a couple of weeks because we're going to do this exercise every couple of weeks. But I think Lemieux has the potential to be a franchise stabilizing left tackle. I know that we just got through paying Ronnie Stanley and his contract runs through the 2027 season. But right after we paid him the first time he got hurt, right after we paid him the second time, now he's hurt again with that same ankle injury. And so for a 31-year-old left tackle who's had 5 out of the last 6 seasons with injuries or injury concerns. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens can any longer hold out to see what he turns into. I know that the Baltimore Ravens did draft Vincent in this past draft, but a 5th round pick at a Division III school. Don't know long term what he's going to develop into. And so I think Lemieux is a better prospect. I think he's more talented overall, and I think we can absolutely use Vincent at one of the other positions. And so that's what I'm bringing to the table right now for the Baltimore Ravens. Left tackle, possibly a franchise left tackle, a guy who has all of the skill set, all of the tools that you want. In fact, he is projected, even though the college season is only about 7 weeks in, he is projected to be a first rounder. There is no second, third round context to him. He is a first rounder, and I think that he will stay he will stay a first rounder and continue to rise as the college season goes on. And so the hope is that if we are drafting high, we can pull a left tackle off the board. I know it's going to be very, very tempting to draft that edge rush, that top 10, top 15 guy. I know it's going to be very, very tempting to draft that interior defensive lineman, that top 10, top 15 guy. But we need to support the quarterback, especially if he's going to be here long term. All right. This is a 2-round draft, so let's move to the 2nd round. So as we move into the 2nd round, with pick 37, the Baltimore Ravens' original pick, I took defensive tackle Amari Washington out of Oregon. He's a 6'3", 330-pound, big-bodied interior lineman with position flexibility. In a 4-3 lineup, he could play a nose tackle. In a 3-4 lineup, he is the defensive tackle. I took this kid because the Baltimore Ravens have high-level uncertainty in the defensive trenches. With Metabike possibly having a career-ending injury, Travis Jones is a free agent, Broderick Washington, who knows? And so we had to retool, and we have to do it quickly. The only thing we have promising behind Travis Jones is CJ Okoye, a 370-pound, 6'6", defensive tackle who I think could develop into something if he's coached right and has time to really develop. And so I think getting a talent like Amari, who is projected to be a day 2 pick, but has the potential and talent to move into the bottom of the 1st round, I think it's an opportunity for us to upgrade, add talent, add depth on a rookie deal in the interior and continue to retool. I think this draft in 2026 is the kind of draft we need to kind of retool quickly if we're going to try and make a Super Bowl run in 2026. You've seen a lot of teams in the AFC North, but specifically around the league, go heavy in defensive tackle drafting in the 2025 draft. And so I think this is our turn. This is our draft to pay close attention to what we're doing in the trenches. And so 1st round, we went offensive tackle. 2nd round, pick 37, we're going defensive tackle. And since we did make a trade, pick 42, which is a pick we picked up with the trade down, I took offensive guard out of Penn State, Olega Vega Iona, a 6'4", 330-pound monster of a man who can man the middle. Now, this kid right here is probably one of the best offensive guards in this draft class. He was still on the board at pick 42, so I definitely took him, but I definitely think he's going in the bottom half of the 1st round. And depending upon how he performs at the combine, he could sneak up into the top 15. He's a guy who puts me in the mind of Osemele, a guy that we are very familiar with here in Baltimore. This guy is agile, strong, powerful, and plays with a high level of intelligence. He's good as a run blocker, and he's good as a pass blocker. And I think that he could come in and right away start for the Baltimore Ravens, bring an immediate impact for the Baltimore Ravens, upgrade the interior for the Baltimore Ravens, and be a mainstay on that left side of the offensive line. And then Emory Jones could then move over to the right guard position, and now you have high end or higher end players who are going to man and protect Lamar Jackson's blind side, front side. It's going to be good in the run game. See, I believe in putting your money where your mouth is. And I think this is the type of draft for the Baltimore Ravens of 2026 where we have to be willing to go and deal with the trenches. Getting corners and getting edge rushers and wide receivers and running backs, all of that's promising. But if you don't have anybody to block it up, it don't matter who you're throwing it to. It don't matter who your quarterback is. It doesn't matter who your running back is, because you're not going to get much done. And so I think this draft right here, offensive tackle, left tackle of the future, defensive tackle, a guy who can sit and learn from a Travis Jones, and maybe even if they bring back, what's the guy who mans the middle for the Ravens, the big guy, Jenkins? Even if we bring him back for one more year, this guy can learn from them. That guy being Amari Washington, and then be able to take over full time the season after, but be able to provide immediate rotation depth and some interior pass rush. And then we finished it off with Olega Vega Iona, big body guard, strong, powerful, and agile out of Penn State to upgrade this offensive line. So you guys let me know what you think about the gifts I brought at the end of our time as the GM. I'm your guy Boulanger, and until next time, I'm out.